morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. This is Mark Rhodes. And hey, it's time for another Three Questions with. Today we have Lars Agger with eFoqus Canada on with us. Hello, Lars.
Hey, Mark. How you doing? Hey, good to see you again.
Good to see you. Thanks very much for joining us today. And I'm guessing that you've picked up that we're going to have three questions for you today. Based on the title of this series being Three Questions with. So let's get to the three questions if you're ready.
I am ready. Let's go.
Fantastic. So if you all have not met Lars before, longtime fixture in the NAV and Business Central community, he works at eFoqus. He's a managing partner there in British Columbia, Canada. Lars, for those who have not heard of eFoqus or not very familiar with what you all do, who is eFoqus?
So eFoqus is a NAV BC partner based, like you say, in Vancouver, BC. And my partner in crime up here is Eric Hogart, who's an MVP in the NAV world, has been an element of the NAV BC world for a long, long time. And we are in a lot of ways a traditional partner, but based on Eric's skills and MVP status, we tend to get involved in projects that either is a little bit more tricky in terms of integration points and so on, but also quite often failures where we get the observation from clients coming to us and saying NAV doesn't work or Business Central doesn't work, and we're like, sure, it works well, right? It's just a matter of how you apply it, right? So we're a traditional partner from the perspective of we do partner takeovers, we do client takeovers, we do implementation from scratch. We tend to focus more on Business Central and NAV. We do a little bit of CRM on the side as well, but we also are dipping our toe in the water of the apps. So Eric has developed apps for intercompany functionality, a cloud version of the good old Easy Security, and different things that we're kind of like mulling over. We've got a SharePoint connector, right? So we're a little bit in both camps to try to see what we can do from having both a service offering, but also have, the new world of apps on AppSource and follow the leads of Microsoft. We started out being focused around Vancouver, but I think COVID has taught us all that presence is not needed anymore, and you can kind of like, we're delivering a huge Business Central project in Atlanta, Georgia right now, which is almost as far away as we can get from North America. And it works out well. So that's kind of like that's eFoqus in a little bit of a long-winded answer, I guess.
Right. No, fantastic. And I'm just going to take a little moment to put a plug in. You mentioned Eric Hogard, your partner there. Eric came out with the Business Central Field Guide. I think it was just last year. He's already come out with an update to that. What a terrific resource that is. And for anybody who hasn't checked out that book, it's available out there on, I think it is Amazon, but I encourage you to check that out. So great resource.
And Eric, just to mention, Eric, no matter what you ask Eric these days, he says it's in the book. So if we haven't read the book, all hell breaks loose.
It's 5,000 pages long, but it's in there. Exactly, so fantastic. So Lars, I've always appreciated your just general approach to strategy and to overall using Business Central as an enabler to get things done in a business. You've heard Microsoft talk about business transformation for several years now. What kind of experience have you had with some of your clients in terms of really using the tool to enable business transformation? What have you seen out there?
So I think we've got lots of good examples of how the Microsoft products, our Business Central has been an element of the transition that's taken place. I think the best example we have right now is from a cannabis, which is obviously an industry that's very much in the discussion these days. As a cannabis research and development facility here in British Columbia that's relatively new due to the nature of the business, and they had a clear vision that technology needed to be enabler in what they wanted to do. So they had a couple of runs at it. They had another partner that they were working with first that didn't really materialize. Then they had a product specific to the cannabis industry from another partner that they tried to make work, and they couldn't really make it work. So they came to us And we've been part of the process all along, getting Business Central in. Now they're talking about starting to using Power BI as a reporting tool. We're applying advanced warehousing with handheld scanner pushed out into the production facility to get the overall complete visibility. So it's just a natural blending of the business strategy together with what Business Central and what Microsoft gives you as a backbone. That's been really, really fascinating to see. And the whole aspect of getting them up to speed quickly, because of it looks and feels like other Microsoft product has been, incredible for us, right? And I think that's most probably my favorite example right now. But we have another projects on the go where we have CRM, we have customer facing portal, we got it tied into Business Central. So the basic philosophy of Microsoft of the Lego blocks and putting it all in together is absolutely coming into play right now. And it's also, I do love the idea of the mindset that we have to change as an old quote unquote partner, like what we used to love developing, and now our standard reply is always, let's configure as much as we can, let's use the standard product as much as we can, so we stay to the pipe dream of having clients come in on a Tuesday and say, Microsoft, by the way, we just upgraded your system Monday instead of spending $100K on it, right? So that transition is absolutely happening right now, and you see it across the continent, and I love how much of an uptake the Business Central have taken out there in the community. It's fascinating to see.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting you mentioned the cannabis industry in particular. I've heard similar stories, especially around Business Central, and my take on that is because it's so relatively new, they don't have a lot of this is how we've always done it kind of mentality. No. They're coming in fresh and saying, how can technology really enable our processes? And it's very impressive the different perspectives, different approaches they've taken using Business Central as a platform to record everything through the life cycle and track the data to help them be smarter in terms of their processes. And I think it really is, they're not bogged down by traditional thinking. I think there's a lesson there for a lot of businesses to come at it with a very different approach, because the tools that Microsoft's been putting out in the last 5 years, nothing traditional, right? I mean, very innovative. So
it's in a lot of ways, it's a fascinating observation, because we as an old partner, I've been in the NAV world for 25 years right now, and in certain ways, I envy the younger people that come in, because they don't have the same background and the same, this is the way we've always done it, right? Because the challenge for us is just as well as what we preach to our clients all the time is, you can't take an old habit, bad habit, and put it into a new system. You've got to change the way you're thinking. Guess what? Me as a partner, I have to do the same thing, right? I can't keep on relying the way we did it before. I can't keep on selling the way we did it before, because the mindset and the product have changed the world.
Yep.
So from that perspective, it's a very, very fascinating time to be in right now. And I also hope that somehow we can figure out a way of really attracting new, young, dynamic people with a different mindset into this industry, right? Because we all know that we've most probably been, and I'm one of the guilty ones, been a little bit of a stale industry for a while, because we've had a hard time attracting the good, right people to the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge opportunity out there, but
it
is exciting. Yeah. Fantastic. And so my third question really deals with your travels. It's not quite a Canadian accent I'm hearing from you there.
No, I can't. I can't hide this.
You've lived in a few different countries. How many have you lived in? Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
No, how many have you lived in? Yeah, let's start.
I've lived and worked in Belgium. I've lived and worked in Canada for 25 years. I'm originally born and bred, and I'm Danish. I've worked in Denmark for a while, and then I worked in New Zealand for 2 years.
Wow.
I've lived in those places, but I was just counting. Like I worked in Asia. Like if you count 7 continents, if you include Antarctica, I worked in all the other 6 continents.
Yeah,
I worked in Asia, I worked in Africa, I worked across the globe, and I think one of the fascinating things, and one of the things that I've learned from it, is like just being able to go out and having to adapt to different ways of thinking, and forcing yourself to react to different fundamentals of the business. I think really helps you as a person when you go out and you work. I tend to really, when I look at resumes for people that apply for jobs, I love when I find people that's been somewhere else working away, because it gives a good exposure.
It does. Get very different perspectives, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. And I think I'm a huge fan of North America. I love Canada. I love the US. There's so many good people and so many nice things to be said about it. I think my advice would be to people is like I said, take the opportunity to go out and explore the world and just try to do things a little bit different. So when you're in Rome, don't order a burger, right? Do what the Italians do, right? Try to get a little bit of exposure to different ways and so on. I think that will serve everyone well. You bring a lot back because you've had exposure to different ways of doing things.
Yes. Especially in 2020, in the past 6-7 months now, we've seen so many stories about different situations around the world. It always amazes me just to hear these stories about how many people around the world still don't have access to running water or a toilet that we would even recognize. It's incredible how fortunate we are here in North America. And so, that global perspective is very important. Yeah. So Lars, excellent. I really appreciate the time today. I know you guys are very busy, which is great to hear as always. Thank you very much for spending some time and helping us to get to know you a little bit better.
Thanks for giving me a chance to talk to you, and it's been an absolute pleasure. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to look me up on LinkedIn or find me, and we'll be happy to help you out. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
And I sure hope to see you at a conference at some time soon. I know we all miss seeing each other in person, so hopefully that'll happen.
When the world gets back to normal, absolutely.
2021. That's the new order. So, all right. Well, hey, I hope everyone enjoyed these 3 questions and I will look forward to seeing you talking to another community member very soon. Bye for now.
Thanks.